Hello everyone! We are approaching our final WWE pay-per-view before Wrestlemania 37. Quite fittingly, you know the tradition I like to do on the Facebook group One Wrestling News. I always give my predictions. So, hello Frank. Always like to shout him out in these videos. But here we go. My predictions for WWE Fastlane. Coming up on Sunday, March 21st. Now, a couple things I need to note here. This is likely going to be the last ever pay-per-view in the Thunderdome, given the fact that the COVID-19 situation is gradually improving. By May 1st, there's going to be a federal mandate that all 50 states have to give the vaccine out. So, things are looking very good. You know, hopefully, if all goes well from what I've been hearing, Raymond James Stadium is going to be their venue for the next couple of months until the NFL season returns in the fall, which it makes a lot of sense for WWE right now. You can have a limited amount of fans in the state of Florida, according to Governor Ron DeSantis over there. So, it makes a lot of sense. You know, it's outdoors. You know how the virus spreads. It's less possibility if it's spreading outdoors than indoors. So, makes a lot of sense here. You know, and hopefully, from what I'm hearing from the CDC, they're hopefully going to limit the social distancing rule to 3 feet, which would be great improvement from what we've had the past year. So WWE can have more of these events at Raymond James Stadium with fans the next couple of months. And by the fall, I mean, we could be looking at hopefully WWE events going back across the country in different arenas prior to the last show, March 9th, 2020, which was Raw. So, bottom line is, say goodbye to Tropicana Field. That's going to be important to note here. Bye-bye. We're going to Raymond James Stadium in April, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, outdoor venue makes a lot of sense right now. Especially how, for WWE programming to be promoted on Peacock, it would be a good move. And I want to note, Peacock has reached an agreement with WWE programming. So now, all WWE pay-per-views, starting with Wrestlemania on the weekend of April 10th and the 11th, will be moving exclusively to Peacock, which is NBC's streaming service they've had now since July of last year. I am already subscribed thanks to my dad's Xfinity subscription in Delmarva. So, glad on the Eastern Shore of Maryland we're already subscribed. But, yeah, I can't believe it. This is going to be it for WWE Network. In a couple weeks, they are shutting down, and going to be a little bit sad seeing WWE Network go. But, hey, you know, you're getting a lot more value with Peacock if you get the subscription. So, I'll go more into it when we go to WrestleMania predictions. That way, I can keep you guys in the loop on how to get Peacock, and you know, you guys can enjoy WrestleMania on April 10th and the 11th. But nevertheless, we're going to get right to our predictions. Also, one last note. If you are in Tampa and you want to go to WrestleMania, hopefully by the time this video is out, hopefully before Sunday, limited amount of tickets have gone on sale on Ticketmaster.com. So I would highly recommend to get your tickets as soon as possible because it's likely going to be sold out with the limited capacity. And remember, this is going to be the first WWE event to be held with fans in almost a year. So again, they're doing it because the COVID situation is gradually improving. More Americans are getting the vaccine. So let's hope I'm right by the fall we're back into our arenas. Because you have to be back in front of fans sooner or later. I mean, it's just doesn't feel right with virtual audience. So anyhow, let's get started. We're going to go to our first match here. Randy Orton taking on Alexa Bliss, or as I like to call her, Sister Abigail. Now, there is a rumor going around that this is going to lead up to a Randy Orton versus the Fiend rematch at WrestleMania, which likely would make sense here. I think it could lead to that, and this is how I think this match is going to go on. So if you haven't been watching Raw the past couple of weeks, Randy Orton has been having these weird, awkward interviews with Charlie Caruso, and I don't know what Randy Orton's spitting out, but it has a lot to do with Alexa Bliss. As you know, back in December, Randy Orton put down the Fiend for supposedly good, but this is part of the storyline. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think the Fiend is going to come back here, and this is going to end up in a no contest because you have to have a build-up the next couple of weeks on Raw, and for the Fiend and Orton to have a rematch would make a lot more sense here. So just end it in a no contest. This is going to end up being a pathetic waste of time anyway. So might as well just have the Fiend come back from the dead, and just have the next couple of weeks on Raw for a promotion. Good way to get Peacock out there, huh? Okay. Next up, we have Drew McIntyre taking on Sheamus. So back in February, if you don't know what happened here, Sheamus has been jealous of Drew McIntyre's reign on top for the past year. So this is why these two have been fighting with each other. This is a match where Drew McIntyre is going to win, obviously, because we know McIntyre is going to face the WWE Champion Bobby Lashley. And I just don't see Sheamus winning. How would you have Sheamus winning knowing that you have to put Drew McIntyre over going into his match at WrestleMania? I mean, it makes a lot more sense there. So, McIntyre is your winner, and we move on. We have something interesting in regards to this match here. We have an Intercontinental Championship match between Big E and Apollo Crews. Now, first of all, when I was watching SmackDown, why are they making Apollo Crews have this weird Nigerian accent? You know, I was fine with Apollo being from Georgia, but really, they have to change the character? Really? I understand he's a heel, but Big E's on top right now, and I understand why they had to do that segment on SmackDown. You know, you have to build up the match somehow, so Big E's going to win. You have to give him momentum going into WrestleMania. I don't know what they're going to do with Big E going into Mania, but there's definitely a good chance you're going to see Big E fight at WrestleMania. I mean, if he doesn't fight at WrestleMania, and he doesn't walk into WrestleMania 37 as champion, something is completely wrong here. Now, this is where things are going to lead up to WrestleMania here. We have a WWE Women's Tag Team match. We have Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax taking on the team of Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Now, to recap what happened on SmackDown, they led off with Nia Jax taking on Sasha Banks. Very good match. You know, they had Nia and they had Bianca as a little bit of a turning point. Sasha was able to retain her championship, and what's going to happen here, you're going to see a complete breakdown between Sasha and Bianca. And what's going to happen is Shayna and Nia are going to walk into WrestleMania as Women's Tag Team Champions. I don't see their road after that. I don't know who's going to face Sasha and Nia at WrestleMania. But what's going to happen here is, next couple of weeks on SmackDown, you're going to see an epic build-up between Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair going into WrestleMania. It makes a lot more sense. You'd have to think that this is the only logical way they're going to go here. And, you know, we'll see what happens on Raw the next couple of weeks. I'm sure, look, you have 2 nights of WrestleMania. They're going to put the women's, they're going to have every championship defender. They're going to have Sasha and Nia fight. If they don't, I'll be surprised. But Hey, you need to have a good way to build up the match. This is the right way to do it. And this is likely our last match we have to predict. Yes. Okay. This is likely going to be our main event. We have the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, taking on Daniel Bryan. In a match that's been built up for the past month, due to what happened at the Elimination Chamber in February, we have this end result. Now, back on SmackDown, they had a match between Edge, who for the first time in 10 years got to wrestle on SmackDown, taking on Jey Uso. The winner would be the special guest enforcer in the match. So, what happened here? Edge won. Now, I don't know what Edge's role is going to be per se, but I can predict what's going to happen here. Daniel Bryan will become your new Universal Champion. And what's going to happen is, either on Saturday, April 10th, or Sunday, April 11th, you're going to have a triple threat match between Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, and Edge. The only way it makes sense here. You're going to have a triple threat match. I think people want to see it. I want to see it. Anybody else want to see it? I certainly do want to see it. It'd be a great triple threat. The dangerous Roman Reigns, the submission machine, Daniel Bryan, the down for the count guy, Edge. Who wants to see that match? I want to see it. So, there you have it. My predictions for Fastlane. Going to be a very interesting show. It's likely not going to last that long. I understand there's going to be a pre-show at 6 o'clock as usual, but this is just, a way for them to tease WrestleMania 37. Look, we're almost there. We're almost there. We just have to get through this pay-per-view, and then in a few weeks, it will be WrestleMania! So, with that being all said, I'm going to wrap up this video. Thank you all very much for watching. And until the next one, please take care.